All right, guys. So
in the top of the reactor,
we have a
and the base of the reactor
slightly
apparently
different
is
stream than
something
what
similar
we
to a cyclotron. It's a
usually
particle
do.
accelerator. The
Um,
particle is accelerated to high
we are
speed
going
and
to
then
be
deflected up a small tube, and it's aimed
watching
at
an
the 115.
interview.
This transmutes the
What is it?
115, similar to the way we do that in a
Lie
normal particle
detector sort
accelerator.
of
This causes
interview with
a
Bob
reaction,
Lazar.
a
So I
radiation
don't know if you
emission
guys
that we really
if you
haven't
guys
seen
have
before.
have
It produces
heard
antimatter. This
of him
antimatter
lately,
is guided down a tuned
but
tube
this
and
guy is
reacts
claiming
with a
that
gas. When matter and
he worked
antimatter
at
react,
Area
they
51.
convert to
Really,
100% energy.
he worked at
This
S4, which
energy
is a little bit
converted to electrical
away
power,
from Area
and this electrical
51, which is a
power is
military
used to
facility,
power other
where he was
subsystems on the
asked
craft so
to
that
try to
no
figure out
power. That's
how
also
a
a
UFO
byproduct
worked.
of the reactor. The reactor also sets up a gravitational wave from the 115
So
being
there's a
bombarded. This gravitational
so
wave was
I'm watching a
present at the
video
top
of a
the
body
reactor,
language expert right
and
now,
is essentially guided in the same way
who's
microwaves are guided
taking a
through
look at
tuned
his body
tubes.
language,
And, this goes
just
through
looking out
amplifying
for
cavities and through projectors
deceptive
into
sort
the
of
bottom
behavior
the
and
craft.
language.
Yes, it's extraordinarily difficult for a liar to fabricate that kind
And
of detail
so far, like,
and
I'm blown
not
away. I'm about
display any
25
body
minutes into the
language
video,
clusters of deception, such as nervous fidgeting,
and
self-comforting body holds, and holding back.
so
out-of-place
far, like,
smirks.
No matter
no
what the
deception.
load was on the reactor,
It's crazy to
it
me.
never got above ambient temperature.
And the thing
which
is, I watched this
impossible,
video
pulling
with
out
Joe
huge
Rogan,
amounts of power,
and I totally felt like this
nothing
guy was
ever
being
gets warm.
genuine.
There is no thermal radiation
super-
while the reactor's running. The
super
thermionic
weird.
generator is 100% efficient, which is in violation of the first law of thermodynamics. But in fact, it works.
We really spent all our time just trying to see what the stuff can do and what we can control. I was in with Barry in the lab, and Dennis came in and said, we're about to run a test, why don't you guys come out? Or he's,
Aha! Mouth cover while looking down and away. There might be a lie here. He's clearly self-conscious of what he just said. Let's continue watching to put the pieces together to find out why he's self-conscious.
I think he said, Barry, why don't you come out here and bring Bob with you?
Oh, he just appeared to be self-conscious because he misspoke and he didn't say it exactly the way it happened. Who told who to get who? You know, small details, but this just shows how committed he is to saying it exactly how he remembers it.
We went
Yeah,
out there.
that's
and
true. That's the sense that I got.
Craft was already outside the hangar and was just preparing to lift off. It quietly lifted off the ground, which was incredibly impressive to see. It lifted off quietly and then it hovered silently.
The reactor itself was an incredibly advanced system.
I must have this
was
aircraft.
an antimatter reactor. This is something we could only dream of having, something that could put out huge amounts of power that rivals several nuclear power plants running at capacity.
For that particular time, it took off, moved a little around to the left and right, and then sat back down. They communicated with it in a regular VHF radio. The radio wave should bend around the craft. I mean, it shouldn't be possible. Every single thing about the craft and the way they operated didn't make any sense to us.
Did you notice how he opens his hand and then makes a fist? Very congruent body language indicating they just couldn't grasp the technology, and holding that fist indicates the frustration they felt. This very congruent subconscious body language is what we're looking for and expecting of someone who's truthful.
It produces a heart-shaped
Yeah, and this guy is
gravitational
like,
distortion around the craft. Now,
the way that he
craft is
describes things
sitting
with
in the
emotion
air,
too,
and
it's
you
like,
walk
oh, you
underneath
felt
it
like
and
this,
look up.
you know, the aircraft felt
You
like that.
actually cannot see the craft. The light bends
Like it made
around
you,
it.
like he
You're
evokes
bending, gravity
emotion.
bends light. It bends radio waves. They didn't discuss anything with me. It sat down.
Usually when
we
you're
looked
lying,
around for
you
a bit,
don't
and
really
Barry said,
evoke
"Let's go back."
emotion.
We went back in the lab. All we got to do was see it.
That was an extremely impressive test. Maybe to someone that really knows little about
Bro,
science, that wouldn't be a
yes,
whole
that
lot.
interview is
But you
insane,
have to
man.
realize this craft was about 52 feet in diameter. I don't know exactly how much it weighed, but it weighed a lot. It's like seeing a house lift off
Did
the
you
ground.
see
It
the
would be an
documentary
energy
that's on
involved to do
Netflix?
that.
They had times they had designated high performance.
kinda nutty,
tests.
too.
The high performance test goes above the mountain range, and they do much more radical moves with the thing. They just play with this thing right over the test site. The amount of traffic in the surrounding areas on the highway was lowest on Wednesdays, and that's why
I mean, he's
Dennis
so
told us
specific
that,
about these sort of
all the
details.
test flights occurred only on Wednesdays.
Did you notice anything authentic there that would point to him being truthful?
Yes.
The amount of traffic in the surrounding
Yes,
areas
the amount of-
on
there we
the
go.
highway was lowest on Wednesdays, and that's why Dennis told us that all the test flights occurred only on Wednesday.
Well,
Yes,
I don't
he
blame
made
you
the
for
honest
not
mistake of
finishing
calling
that
his supervisor
documentary.
Denny, a nickname for Dennis.
It was not
But
very
throughout
well
this, he was
well
calling
made.
him Dennis.
The best thing
So
about the
what did he
documentary
do?
was Mickey
He quickly
Rourke doing
and
the
casually
voiceover.
corrected himself.
He was
It
the
appears
only
that Bob
reason I
called
made it through
Dennis
it.
Denny when he worked with him. These types
Yeah,
of
the interview
honest
definitely
mistakes
was
that
better.
provide additional
Absolutely
congruent insight
better.
Indicate truthfulness and not just a well-rehearsed story.
Because it'd be the least chance that anyone would see what's going on.
Your wife started thinking that you were having an affair.
Monitoring your phone is nothing unusual. However, they insisted that, you don't even talk to your loved one, to your partner, to your wife, whatever, about what's going on. So she was essentially in the dark.
It was a virtually impossible secret to keep, but I did play by the rules, and it caused a lot of problems. It caused problems in my family life.
Part of the security clearance
Sure, it did.
is that not only do you not have
You
any
can't say
connections
shit to
foreign
anyone.
countries and aren't a maniac, but you have to have a stable home life too. She started having an affair
Yeah, that's true.
with a flight instructor. Now they were monitoring this on the phone, and they knew it, and I didn't.
They viewed that
See, that's
as a
so
potential
crazy.
emotional instability, and they no longer wanted me coming out until things were cleared up, either for it, it to break up or heal or whatever. But they that's what put the brakes on everything there.
And they explained this to you, what was happening?
Well, after the fact, yeah, because time kind of went on.
And what he's
And
saying is
there
in
were guys that
line
were
with,
following me around.
what's public about
And I
security
started getting a little
clearances.
concerned, but they're not
You
just
know, they
gonna
want to
hang
know,
out at
like,
home
what
and
your
go get a new
mental
job, knowing what
state
I know.
is, is like. So they will actually talk to your doctors and find out what you've been diagnosed with, whether or not the doctor feels like you're a trustworthy individual. They interview your neighbors.
I took my closest friends and just
They
kinda
ask
got
you
together and said,
about
"Hey, remember that
any
job I
children
told you
you've
about?
fathered
This is
with
what's
other
going on."
with people. So they get pretty deep into your stuff, and they interview a bunch of people. So there's a form that you fill out, right? So everybody that you put in your form is pretty much open game for them to interview.
to make me disappear, whether
So everything he's saying about, the home life and stuff like that, that's all super important.
to kill me, just to stop the word from getting out.
Like, you don't need to take my word for it. Wednesday night, we need to all go out here. I want to show you what's going on.
Bob knew the test flight schedule for the discs and took his wife, his best friend Gene Huff, and another friend John Lear out to the desert near the base on a Wednesday night in March 1989.
Huh, it started coming in too.
Did you see that light just come on over there? I was looking right at it.
Shortly after the flight time that I had recorded, an amber light came up off the ground and hovered, and then began doing radical step maneuvers and darting from one side of the sky to the other, doing some impossible flight characteristics.
Mm.
Do you think what you saw over the desert that night was an alien spacecraft?
Could I identify it as an ET craft without Bob's help? No, it would have been like I said, an elliptically shaped saucer, just doing moves that we're not capable of.
I don't think that's landing lights because it's curved already and we're still looking at it. Looks like he's curving back. Here he comes.
So weird.
But at times the craft had glowed tremendously bright, where we thought, being miles and miles away, we thought there was something wrong and the craft was going to explode, so much so that we all got behind the car.
It actually came closer. It came down the mountain range toward us to where we could actually see it was elliptically shaped. It looked like something that... It's strange to explain. It looks like an explosion that starts to explode and stops and doesn't explode and dissipate. That's how bright the light is. Your brain interprets it as an explosion about to happen.
You apply enough energy to a
I
gas
do love how
molecule,
this guy is like
and
interlacing
photon
videos from
light.
other
It's really
interviews
a byproduct of how the craft operates.
and
Emitting that much
compares
energy,
some of the things that
gas
Bob
surrounding the
Lazar was
craft
saying in
emits
other
light,
interviews
same reason
with the
why
Joe Rogan
light is
interview.
visible.
I think that's really good.
Electrical discharge, and the gas emits light in the form of lightning bolt. If you were going to see one of these crafts at night operating, it would appear really as a glowing ball or just a bright light in the sky from a distance. Even close up, you'd see a glowing halo around it. This is typically what you'd see in your normal UFO sighting. Bright, strange, jumping lights in the sky. That does explain that.
Hey, we got away with it. We should try it again the next test flight day. And I think it was on the third time that we got caught. I mean, we started becoming a little careless. I think we took a motorhome out there. And, you know, I mean, it was like the stupidest thing you could possibly imagine.
Start tailgate.
We went out there.
Oh yeah, this story's
for
funny.
some reason, we just started talking
This is
shit.
funny.
Something about attacking the base. And stealing the craft. Then about 20 feet in front of us, we see a little green light fall on the ground and roll to us. And unbeknownst to us, now it's pitch black, you can't see your hand in front of your face. There were a bunch of guards standing.
Of course
right
there
out
are.
And they had a night vision scope where they were
Of
like, from here to the
course.
wall, looking at us, listening to us. You know, we turned the lights on, and all these guys are there. So we did incredibly stupid stuff and got caught, as we should have. The following day, I went to Indian Springs Air Force Base.
I was in the room with the security guards that caught us, my supervisor and some other people, and some other security personnel.
And this is when they brought out the transcript of the phone call with my wife and were reading me what
Oh, that's so
my
fucked up,
wife
man.
and, you know,
That
her
is
friends
so
were talking
fucked up.
about.
Oh yeah, your wife is cheating
As
on you.
probably
You don't know
noticed,
it.
little sadness
Here's a
came over.
transcript
This all happened over 30
of that
years
conversation.
ago.
It's
So his
craziness.
slightly sad tonality and pursed lips is congruent to what we would expect.
I'm not sure exactly they knew what to do.
They were essentially grilling me about security and, you know, how could I possibly bring people out there, and I guess I wasn't as responsive as they would like, and they got in my face and wanted to pull the sidearm out. Just pushed it against me.
That's fucking scary.
About as intense as you can possibly get. Right.
That is fucking
short of
scary.
shooting me in the head. Everything. They threatened my wife. They said they'd stop at nothing. They said they thought they made that.
I would've
very
shit
clear. They
myself.
couldn't believe that I had taken anyone out there to show them that, much less left with information.
Yeah,
like,
I can't believe it.
Flight test data, and wanted to know what else I had said, who else I had told specifically. They were crazy. They really were. They were completely out of control.
But they did let me go that night, and I went home. And this is kind of when the most stressful part started.
Because you're realizing that you're being monitored.
Yeah, now
24/7.
now I know not only am I being monitored, but now I know I'm in trouble.
Bob says that he was put under constant surveillance by security personnel. His phones were tapped, his movements were monitored, and he often found his
So
car
why did
followed
they
by
let him go?
military
I don't
helicopters.
understand that.
And
So they
it
have
wasn't a
this
short
like
time after
super
that I
crazy,
contacted only investigative
you know,
reporter I had heard of in Las
world-shattering
Vegas was George Knapp. Told him some of the
secret.
story because I had no idea what the hell was going to happen.
And he's like blabbing it
If I
out
did
to
an
people.
interview
Like, why did they
in
let him go?
Silhouette, it would be kind of pushing back a bit, or say, you guys stop, and not saying too much, but just saying enough, just to let them know that I'm pushing back a bit and then lay off, or, you know, it's going to get worse. It was really the only thing I could do.
And that's what turned into the famous wrestling match between me and George trying to get the tape, but he won because he was a bigger guy. He got the tape, he put it in the player, and boom, 5 o'clock news was on.
Well, there's several, actually 9 flying saucers, flying discs, that are out there of extraterrestrial origin.
Interview with the shadowy dentist drew international attention. Portions were broadcast by radio in 6 European countries and in a nationally televised TV special in Japan.
Oh, got it.
after that.
Okay,
was
so he had
from
already
Dennis.
talked
It
to the
said,
press
"Do
at
you
that
have any
point.
idea what we're going to do
Oh,
now?"
that makes
And he
sense.
hung up the phone.
Then I decided, well,
Good point, Doc.
you know, that's it. And really just said everything that I had seen and done, and just wanted to divorce the entire situation.
No one had associated flying saucers with Area 51 until Bob Lazar's interview hit television screens around the world.
Really, I didn't know that.
Inquiries and
I didn't know that
Dennis
people never
has remained
associated
anonymous until now.
UFOs
His
with
real
Area
name is
51 until
Robert
Bob
Lazar.
Lazar.
It's like if they can't get the
Interesting.
person that's involved, they just create a problem for everybody that surrounds them. It hurt a lot of people's lives that I was connected to. And that's an effective way of shutting someone up.
There was a woman who was a
Well, you know, they probably, you know, that was probably the right call, right? Just let him, just, you know, just ignore what he's saying, because they can just play him off as people. They need people to play him off as a loon, which is pretty much what ended up
I
happening.
had this conversation with her on the phone. The next day after this conversation takes place, she's visited by 2 men, reminding her that she is still under a security oath. told her, "We know that you do a lot of traveling
Yep,
back
yep,
and forth. a
yep,
lot of
absolutely
long
right
drives
there.
between Las Vegas and L.A. We'd hate for something to happen to you or your family." No interview. I mean, it happened again and again and again. Same scenario.
Did you feel that by coming forward and going public, they couldn't just snuff you out?
That was, I mean, that's what I was told, and George and everybody, you know, said that. You got, oh, it's public. There's, you know, no one will touch you, and I fell for it.
A car came up alongside of me, and I thought he was just trying to race me to get on the freeway. This was after I had left the project. It was a white, boxy-looking car. Exactly what make and model, I don't know. But I accelerated to get on the freeway to go fast, and there was a gunshot, and the
That's
back
scary.
of the car was hit, and I skidded off into the median. It was an attempt on my life, but by who specifically, I don't know. Though I was threatened before I had left, that they threatened my wife's life and my life, so I can only put two and two together and say kind of pissed off.
What happens when we die, and are we alone? Those are the two big questions.
Right. It's a crime that they're
Yes.
not telling the
Yes.
rest of us. I think it's mainly the technology. They just want to keep the technology secret. You literally
Yeah,
become
this actually
invincible
does seem
once you
legit to
master
me.
The technology.
Crazy as
Space-time
it
and gravity
sounds.
are all essentially interrelated. They all act on one
Like,
another.
I just don't-
Gravity bends space.
I don't know, like just the
Gravity
way
also
that he describes
distorts time.
things, the
When
level
you
of
vary
detail that he
one,
goes
you essentially vary the
into,
other two.
If you have
the
a
fact that
machine
he
makes gravity,
pulls
you can pretty much do
emotions
anything. You can
into
affect
his
time,
story.
You can have force fields.
It's
All
just
that stuff that's in
craziness.
science fiction becomes reality if you have a machine that can make gravity. And what we worked on in the desert was a machine that makes gravity.
Because space-time and gravity are all interrelated, if you could produce gravity artificially, an extremely intense field of gravity, what you could do is actually distort the distance between two objects and make it shorter. Not just distorting the distance, but now you're also decreasing the time between the two places.
The detail that Bob gives of how the alien craft works is astonishing. Someone may say, oh, it's easy to give great detail if you're just making it all up. Actually,
No, it's not.
extraordinarily difficult.
Totally
to fabricate
difficult.
A very detailed story like that, which must somewhat align with scientific theory, and then keep every one of those details straight in your head
Yep.
as you're doing the interviews.
You're
Over
essentially
decades.
separated from reality. As crazy as that sounds, with being encased its own gravitational envelope, inertia is not going to affect it.
What happens is a great gravity distortion is created, and you're essentially bending space toward the craft. The craft becomes part
That
of
would
space
be,
when the gravity amplifiers are
Doc,
shut
that
down.
would be
The
just
craft
mind-blowing.
where it was focused.
I mean,
It's a
that
very
would
difficult
change
thing to
the
grasp.
course
It happens
of
virtually
civilization.
instantaneously because of the fact that
I
gravity
mean, just
distorts
imagine.
time, and if you're
Oh,
bending
man.
space and time along with it, when you
Yes,
back up in that
absolutely.
place,
Yeah.
you're there between the ticks of a clock.
This is how some of those recent sightings of Commander David Fravor.
Clear blue sky, there's no wind. You see this tic-tac, it's just
Right,
this white eye.
right.
That's what
Absolutely.
I'm around.
Don't understand. We don't understand it.
It
It's
makes
craziness.
the hair on the back of your neck stand up a little bit. I remember telling my back seater, I said, dude, I don't know about you, but I'm a little weirded out. It's not a helicopter. It doesn't have rotor wash. There's no propulsion. There's no wings. It rapidly accelerates and disappears. Like, gone. Weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life.
The thing operates exactly the way I was describing. That's why he was interested to talk to me. Most of the correspondence I get are people trying to get a hold of me, going, Bob, you got to listen to me. I'm coming to talk to you. I'm driving from Oklahoma or
So
whatever.
weird.
But some of them are just batshit crazy, and they're
Yes, he did.
frightening.
Yep, he did say that. Yep. Good memory, because I had not remembered that. I had not remembered that from the interview until I just, as I'm watching this, he mentioned it in the very beginning.
I've seen stationary lights.
Thought I saw something in the room that I was sleeping in.
Believe it or not, I'm not into UFOs. I don't follow stories.
Before I was at S4, I was more or less one of the guys that thought all these government conspiracy and UFO buffs and things like that were complete lunatics. I even remember before I was involved there, a friend showed me a little newspaper clipping that said John Lear was giving a lecture who was touting that aliens from another world came to Earth and there's 70 different species. And I remember laughing on the phone
that this guy had lost his mind. I was also under the impression that, you know, well, the government's all for the people. They're out here to protect us and all that. You know, after the experiences I had there, everything is completely turned around. I was never interested in flying saucers as a child. Science fiction, you know, I watched Star Trek, I guess, with everyone else back then, but...
yeah, so what he was saying was that the previous guy or two or whatever tried to open one of the reactors.
No, I'm
so he tried to
fascinated
open
with
a
the
reactor
technology,
and ended up getting killed
really
because there was a huge
irks me,
blast.
like every night I go to sleep.
Reactor
that was my
exploded.
own doing, essentially, that prevented me from continuing on in the project. I mean, it's that to be on that cutting edge of technology is so alluring to me.
I would like to have known a little bit more about the technology, probably kept quiet if I could have, and possibly never have said anything.
It's extraordinarily difficult for a liar to convincingly tell a very detailed story once, but to tell it convincingly again with similar detail is even more difficult. It's because a liar is fabricating the story with the creative part of their brain, but a truth teller is telling it with their memories in their brain. I think you know which is more concrete.
By the same token, I don't really care that there's aliens or where they come from. I mean, the prize is the technology, and that's what I'm fascinated by. But so I don't listen to UFO stories and that sort of thing.
I believe if I was given the opportunity again to go back in time and redo it,
Yeah,
I think
it is
I
pretty good
much
stuff.
would have just shut up and gone along with the program.
We try and do what we can.
Yeah, and maybe
once
this is
we
what they
reach
want
a
us to think,
roadblock,
right?
then
Like maybe this
we
is
really can't figure it out.
exactly the
It's
narrative
friggin' wait, put the thing away, wait for
that
science
they
to
want
catch
to push.
up, and
Absolutely.
a decade later, let's take the project out again and see. All right, now where can we go?
Some speculate, including Bob, that the U.S. government contracted out the management of S4 to a private company to minimize government access and leaks. It's an interesting theory.
I know you got to keep the technology secret, but you can't not tell everybody that this stuff is going on. That we have, actual hardware from another civilization. It's a big deal. Probably the biggest one there ever was.
Obviously, the ET craft do exist. Something had to build them, so there must be aliens. And since there are, and the craft are there must be some sort of factory. And an entire civilization somewhere.
There were Russian scientists at S4, and actually in the area at S4 with us.
So you got to communicate with these guys, or you saw them?
No, I knew they were there. Barry would talk about the commies that were
The
there.
thing is, like, when you're... Ooh. My God, that's so loud.
The commies.
Yeah, the commies.
That was back when they were the commies.
I figured, since I'm solo streaming, might as well have something playing in the background.
But at some point, there was a big discovery made. Apparently, they decided it was just too cool to share with anybody, and the Russians were never allowed back on the base after that. In typical American fashion, it was, all right, this is ours. You guys get the hell out of here.
America.
Is there any inkling that any other government had something similar?
No, nothing that I had heard.
We knew, again, through intelligence and through open source material, we knew that the Russians and the Chinese and others were working on this too.
The way the craft that we worked on flies
Sell some of my shit.
is it doesn't fly like a conventional aircraft does, and it doesn't fly like a flying saucer would in a 1950s movie. It flies belly first.
There are 3 amplifiers.
So this is a cool
the way
detail.
in which it's propelled are 2 different ways. There's what they call Omicron configuration, where the craft is using 1 generator, or a Delta configuration, where it's utilizing all 3. Delta configuration would be for space travel. Essentially, the craft will tilt up on its side, as opposed to a science fiction movie where you see a flying saucer moving around. The craft will tilt up on its side, focus the 3 gravity generators to a single point, and move through space that way. They'll use 1
It's a
gravity
very good
generator
point.
to lift the
Very
craft
good
off the
point.
ground,
Why
as
would we
opposed
be the
to
only
what we're
ones to
used
have
to, for
any
instance, a plane.
aircraft, any of those
Once
crafts?
it's in the air, we envision
That's a very good
thrust
point.
or some force coming out the back of it to push it forward. The crafts work completely opposite of that. What they do is once they're hovering in the air, they'll swing the 2 remaining gravity generators up in front of them and create a distortion, essentially a downhill, and the craft rolls downhill for infinity. It's always chasing a little distortion. That's why they look goofy when they fly around at low speed, because they're essentially, and any time you run over, the gravity field around the Earth is not completely constant and stable, depending on the minerals and density of the earth underneath it, gravity will vary somewhat, and you will get odd movements of the craft. So its low-speed mode is kind of unstable.
Giving this much scientific detail, he's not using many crutch words at all, or nervous stutters. Typically, we'll notice a lot of that with a liar, because they're constantly trying to fabricate the connection between the known truth and their lie, while also trying to come across as truthful. I can't stress enough how hard it is to lie through an entire interview and show virtually no signs of deception.
I mean, it may set down conventionally, but it always rotates. It does a roll maneuver, puts its belly towards the target, and then moves away at high speed.
So it'd be like a car flying with the wheels forward.
Right. And the gimbal video, you can see the craft do the roll maneuver.
That's not our LNS though, is it? It's not. That is the LNS, dude. Well, if there's like a thing, it's rotating.
It's really interesting. It behaves exactly like the crafts that I worked on. Project Sidekick was supposed to be weapon applications of the craft. Project Looking Glass, any effects of time in the craft. What Commander Fravor saw, he described it as a ping pong ball in a cup and shaking it back and forth. It was moving that fast.
It rapidly accelerates to the south in about 2 seconds and disappears. Oh, well above supersonic. It like a bullet out of a gun, it took off. Talking to some physicists, they don't think the human body could handle that kind of force. I believe, as do the other folks that were on the flight, that when we visually saw it, that it was something not from this world.
There's a gravitational envelope in there which negates any inertia effects.
These pilots were describing seeing these things up to 30,000 feet in the air, flying at extraordinary speeds, hypersonic, well over the speed of sound, changing direction in the most astonishing ways, and seemingly defying the laws of physics.
What's fascinating to me, too, is that you were discussing the way this reactor worked and that these things were not really connected.
No, nothing is connected. There's no wiring at all.
Yeah, man, I heard that Ninja switched over to Mixer. That's craziness.
Is if this guy is lying.
The thing is, like, Microsoft has, like, buttloads of fucking money. So they'll just, they're just gonna, so Microsoft is doing the same thing that they've done for decades. Which is they just buy their way into a market. That is what they do. They do it super well, and that's what they're trying to do now with Mixer, right? With Ninja, who knows who else they're gonna buy off and have them go over to the Mixer platform.
To Bob Lazar's amazing claims. He says he ran into unusual problems just trying to look into Lazar's background. Though Lazar claimed to have once worked at the Los Alamos National Laboratory.
Yeah, but take a look at Microsoft's acquisition history, and you'll see the products that they turned into. You know, Microsoft for a while they didn't have any built-in antivirus into the Windows operating system, so they bought a company that did it. They didn't have a virtualization platform, so they bought Virtual PC, a company who did it. A lot of the products that Microsoft puts out are a result of them buying themselves into a market, and Mixer is no different, right? They built a Mixer platform, and now they're buying themselves into the streaming gaming market.
When he worked on the Apollo and Space Shuttle projects.
I did a variety of research relative to Bob Lazar.
The one thing that I just keep thinking of is, I remember being a little kid thinking how I would never ever make any money in gaming, and now you have these guys that are making millions of dollars just streaming themselves play video games, which I think is pretty awesome.
Again, finding that these were highly classified numbers. And then again,
but I never would have imagined that.
Security Administration, we found that Bob Lazar's records had in fact been bleached clean. There was nothing there, in spite of the fact that the document clearly
it's the dream. It's the
Social
dream.
Security taxes had been taken out of his pay.
So it was proven that the U.S. government took Social Security taxes out of Bob Lazar's pay, but they're now denying that they even did that because his account is now empty. Clearly, the government is trying to discredit Bob to make it seem like he never worked for them.
I had to wonder whether this guy was making this stuff up, but then I see the phone book and I see the newspaper article, and I talked to people who worked with Bob at the lab and who said, in fact, that he did work on classified projects, yet no one can find any records of his background.
The people that I worked with, colleagues, the people I went to school with, obviously knew I was there, and people at Los Alamos, I was friends with, and people that worked under me and alongside of me knew I was there. And
people can't be surprised that the government can make you disappear.
To have worked out at the base on flying discs. Former US Marines test pilot Bill Uhouse worked out at Groom Lake and other top secret locations for more than 40 years, working for the Pentagon and civilian contractors on a variety of highly classified projects, including, he says, a flying disc recovered from a crash in Kingman, Arizona in May 1953. Uhouse says that Lazar did work at Area 51.
I think Bob is saying exactly what he knows. Bob Lazar is not lying as far as his place and position and the activity he was involved with at the time.
And this is back in the 80s where when you discuss this, people are like, this doesn't even exist.
Yeah, I put my hand on it, badge popped out, and that's how I could open the doors and get into S4.
And everybody discredited that. They said it was bullshit, it was science fiction. Your education record?
Well, that disappeared also.
I've talked to the schools that he claims to have...
I love he's so nonchalant about it. Oh yeah, my education record? Yeah, that disappeared also.
He was supposedly a scientist and stuff.
I've been playing PUBG.
Crazy, right? Bob's entire past is completely empty.
So one of my brothers has been playing a lot of PUBG, and I've just been joining him on that. So it's this and PUBG. Every once in a while, I'll hop on Sea of Thieves as my larger group decides to get on. So those are the 3 games that I've been playing. How about you, man?
Stronger, brighter, faster than anybody else.
Yeah, he thinks the reason for that is Bob lying about everything. When normal-minded people lie, they weave the lie into the known truth. And they don't lie about things that don't seem to matter, like the high school they went to. This guy seems to have just called the institutions, got the answer that fit his pre-existing skeptic belief of Bob, and hung up the phone.
You guys just came up with the story to make a bunch of money or get a bunch of attention. I hate attention. I just want to kind of hide in the corner and do my own thing. If you think somehow we came up with this thing, then you got to tell me why we did it.
Bob actually doesn't do many interviews and much of any public speaking whatsoever. From all accounts, he seems to be a quiet guy who wants to live a quiet life. He now owns a scientific lab, and he's certainly not...
So what do you think of the casino update?
By writing books or going on...
It's been long coming, that update. I remember that being a rumor like 3 years ago that they were going to be coming out with a casino update because somebody found some unused casino assets in-game.
Eventually I will.
Anyway, so finally, it actually happened.
Do an independently conducted polygraph lie detector test to prove to everyone.
Yeah, I hopped in for a little bit to check out the casino content.
Before you toss Lazar on the pile
I like it.
all the other UFO wackos, understand
And
that he
Minecraft,
willingly
huh?
agreed to take a
I haven't
lie
played
detector
Minecraft in a long time.
independently arranged by a
Every
Las
once in a
Vegas
while, I'll hop on,
Terry
I'll kind of
Carnetti
fuck
is the
around for about
ex-cop
10
who
minutes.
administered the test.
If he's lying,
And that's, that's about the extent of what I do.
because he gave absolutely no physiological indications of attempting deception.
I have seen a resurgence in Minecraft.
That I'm looking at a probable, truthful result. And I mean, I'm getting chills right now talking about it because that's what I got. On every chart that I did, the one relevant question...
Oh, it's totally a microtransactions engine.
He deliberately lied to any question concerning...
Rockstar, I mean, those guys like made oodles of money off of online and selling shark cards.
So, whatever he told me that night, Bob Lazar truly believed...
Oh, really? You never played it until last month? What?
It's just unbelievable that...
Dude.
It answers...
I went through a period of time where that's all I played. I just played the shit out of Minecraft.
He's probably lying.
And so I would play it with with my friends and my brothers and shit on the same server. It was on Xbox 360.
That happened exactly like I
But it was awesome, man. It was so much fun. Built all sorts of shit. It was great.
Knows about the layout of the base. He knew about people who were involved in security
I even built
checks.
out a
He
Millennium
knew
Falcon
when
at
and
one
where
point.
the test
You can
flights
go into
were
the
gonna take
Millennium
place, because
Falcon
he
and
took
fucking
people out
walk
there
through it
3
and
weeks in a
shit.
row, and they
I tried to
videotaped
make it
the
as
test.
accurate as
How
I
did he know
possibly
this
could,
stuff if he,
based
in
off
fact,
of a
did not
layout that I
have some
found
kind of
online.
inside knowledge?
There
But it
might
was
have been
it's
reason
so it was so
4
much
years
fun.
ago to believe that
And then, you know, like everything else, you just kind of get
the idea
you get sick of it.
alien visitation. I don't think that's true anymore.
So I got burned out of that game.
Far more sophisticated now.
You may be asking, is it at all possible that Bob Lazar is lying or isn't truthful?
Yeah,
That's a two-part question. First, for him to
I would
knowingly
prefer
lie,
playing it on
this
survival
nerdy
mode,
scientist
honestly,
is
just
gonna be
because even
the
if
best
I just
actor
wanted to
in the
just build
world.
shit,
To be able to
just
fool a
because it
polygraph
gave
and show no signs of
it added
deception even before seeing multiple
an element of danger,
That's impressive. Bob knowingly lying can
and that just I don't know, it adds a different dynamic to the game. So yeah, definitely.
The second part,
Playing it on creative just feels like you're cheating. It doesn't feel
believes
right.
is true, but somehow it's not true.
And I know you're not,
Brainwashed, delusional,
because that's the
crazy,
point
or
of
somehow
creative,
he
that you just
believes
focus
his
on the
beliefs are
building.
real. That might be a
But
little
I
more
like,
plausible,
you know,
but
digging
still
shit
seems
up
highly
and
unlikely for a lot of reasons. First, if he was
and
crazy,
just
he
not
was
knowing
wrong,
exactly what you're gonna dig
pathological
up,
liar.
and
It wouldn't
not
be
knowing whether
isolated
there's
to
gonna be a
just this
creeper
one
around the
event in his life.
corner that's gonna
We would
explode
see
in your
it in a lot
face.
of things throughout
I like
his
that.
life, because that's a personality characteristic.
Yeah, I mean, creative mode, man, it's
Also,
fine.
there's
You know,
significant physical
if that's
evidence.
all you want to
For
do,
example,
that's fine.
witnesses
But
saw the high-performance alien
but then you don't have the
themselves
danger
on
element.
The exact date, time, and remote location in the desert that Bob said. He was telling everyone about up-and-coming technologies years ago.
You know what? I
such
don't
as
remember how you
element
progress to
114
the
and
end.
security handreading,
I think
before others knew about it.
I
The
think
very
you
fact that
you
his
get to the
life
point
records
where
were
you're able
apparently
to make a
erased
portal. There's a
inadvertently
one point there's a
caused
portal that you can
additional
make, and once you
evidence
make the
supporting
portal,
Bob's claim
like it
that
takes you
someone
down
really
to an
high up
underworld
isn't too happy
where there's a
with him.
dragon that
Since
you can
he
fight.
doesn't seem to be intentionally lying, and there's physical evidence supporting his
So basically,
words
keep doing what you're
and
doing,
claim,
right?
It seems to be that
And
Bob is truthful, and most of what he's saying is real. But
and
I
eventually
wanna
you'll have the
emphasize
ability to
word
make that portal.
most, because some of what he said is only based on what he heard or read, such as the spaceship was from the Zeta Reticular star system.
Yeah, and I don't remember
or
whether you get
humans
prompted
have
or
been
not.
genetically modified by aliens. That kind of information could have been intentional.
But I do remember the portal. I do remember taking it at one point
The
and,
government to identify the source of a possible leak.
and
Since
fighting
the government is
fighting
so
the dragon.
over the top need to know, why did Bob need to know where the spacecraft was from, or that we were genetically modified for him to work on an alien
Oh
spacecraft?
no.
Personally,
Oh no, somebody spawned at the last minute.
this is kind of
Fuck.
changing, and you may
Where
be
is
just
it?
as shocked as I am.
Oh.
It's a little unsettling that there seems to be another species
Almost
out
had it.
there who visits us that's more advanced than us.
Damn, they got shields too.
And can even threaten us. I wish Bob Lazar was the one who was lying to us here, but it appears there's a certain aspect within the US government that's very dark and very secretive. Now in the comments, why do you think the US government seems to be trying to hide this from us? Let everyone know in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up if you think we're not alone in the universe. Give this video a thumbs down if you think we're completely all alone in the universe.
Oh, we're
Remember
not
to
alone in the
subscribe so you
universe.
don't miss out on new body language and investigative videos.
That is guaranteed.
Shake up YouTube, and I'll see you at the top.
And boom. All right, that was an interesting analysis by this guy. That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
I'm Ryan, that's Brent. This week on BuzzFeed Unsolved, we're covering the real-life Men in Black. Are they real? Are they
Oh.
as charming as their Hollywood counterparts?
Oh shit, I'm gonna keep playing that.
Watching Men in Black, I never knew it was based on a true story.
Today we find out.
Shit, let me...
The Men in Black are
There we
typically
go.
described as wearing black suits, being expressionless, cold, sinister, and in some cases inhuman.
There we go.
The Men in Black seem to only talk to two kinds of people: those who claim to have seen a UFO and those who research UFOs.
They present themselves as part of a secret organization, sometimes even producing a white card with a crest and the word security on it. And in some cases, they refer to each other by number rather than name. They threaten and scare people into remaining silent about their UFO encounters and or research. Think of them as the cleaners of the extraterrestrial universe.
How much black do they actually wear? Do they look like the men in black that we see?
What's up, Cap?
We'll get into
Nope, not yet. I haven't talked to my friend
Once
yet.
they pull apart their skin and then an alien comes out.
Now that you know the basics, here are, in my
But once I
opinion,
hit level
most
90, I
terrifying
will.
reports of encounters with Men in Black. The first ever recorded experience with the Men in Black came from Harold Daw in June 1947. Harold Daw was out on his boat in the Puget Sound where he claimed he saw 6 giant donut-shaped objects in the sky. One of the objects fell apart, spilling debris that killed his dog.
Man, some of these
and
stories are
his son.
creepy
He
as
took photos of the
fuck.
debris, but said they were later fogged over by a man in black who told him not to speak of the incident.
They had donuts in 1947? How old are donuts?
What?
You said he saw donut-shaped objects in the sky.
That's what you were thinking of when I was telling you that story? His fucking dog died.
Yeah.
Okay. The next incident comes from Robert Richardson in 1967. Robert Richardson.
Oh, the video? Yeah, so there is a browser source control or object that you can add. So it'll ask you for the URL that you want to show. So just so it basically embeds a browser. And then once you do that, then go into filters, and then you can kind of mess around with the padding to crop out everything that's not the video itself.
To stay as pretty as she is, then you'd better get the medal back. End quote. Richardson never heard from the men again and still has no idea how they knew about the medal.
Why didn't he go to the police? Why did he search on the internet? What do I do?
I think he may have gone to
Yeah,
the
bro.
police. There is no internet, by the way. It's 1967. He probably just searched.
OBS is such a great tool. God, it's such a great tool.
Encyclopedias. Jinx.
The next encounter happened in New Jersey in 1968. Jack Robinson, a UFO researcher, and his wife Mary were terrorized by a man in black that would stand across the street from their apartment building. They reported their apartment appeared to be rummaged through, and after seeing the strange man for 3 days in a row, their friend Timothy Green Beckley decided to get a closer look and managed to snap a picture. This is a rare instance of a reported MIB caught on camera.
So, okay, so here's one interesting thing.
How do we know?
In Bob Lazar's interviews, we've not heard him talk about any Men in Black. Like, that's not something that happens with him. I wonder why that is. Oh shit, I'm fucked. Oh, no way.
A doctor living in Maine was studying a UFO incident, and he reportedly got a phone call from a man who
Wrecked.
identified
Got
himself
wrecked.
as a representative of a New Jersey UFO organization. The man asked if Dr. Hopkins was alone and if they could review research. Dr. Hopkins agreed, and by the time he hung up the phone and
Doc, you're on
lights
point today,
outside,
man.
Dr.
You're making a
Hopkins
whole lot of
claimed the
sense.
man was somehow already
You are
coming up
making
the
a
stairs
lot
to
of
the door.
sense.
Hopkins' description of the man is the most horrifying yet. The man wore a neatly tailored black suit, was bald with no eyebrows or eyelashes, and had smooth, dead white plastic skin like a doll. His lips were ruby red, and his speech was expressionless and monotone as if you were hearing a machine.
Question. Oh god. He's pale, really tight fitting skin, but the thing they choose to make real is the ruby red lips. They put all their technology into
That's
making
funny.
those lips super realistic, but the rest of the man,
Yeah, he doesn't remember.
can't speak normal, and he looks horrible. Like his face is
Got
white.
neuralized.
The man in black told Hopkins to take out a coin and said, "Watch the coin." After that, Hopkins claims, quote, "It started to develop a silver color instead of copper, and then the silver became bluish, and the penny was getting quite fuzzy, out of focus, blurry.
Oh my god, how many of these little guys are there
It
here?
was gone. It slowly dematerialized." End quote. After that, Hopkins said the man ordered him to destroy his UFO research.
Encounters like this, if they were real, they would not be this interesting.
If in the off chance this actually happened, how shitty would that be? If you tell a story, no one's gonna believe you first off, and second off, you're gonna look like a crazy person.
Yeah,
This
you
next
are.
encounter is with someone you probably know, Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
In January 2002, Dan Aykroyd sold a TV show called Out There to the Sci-Fi Network that would break serious ground on a wide range of topics in the alien media.
Dan Aykroyd actually believes in this
In the middle
stuff.
of conducting further interviews for the show, Dan stepped outside for a
Like,
break
he's
and
had
reported
family
seeing
members
black
that
birds Dan
investigate the
had appear suddenly
paranormal.
across the street. Dan reports that one
And
large
that's
man
where
got out of the
Ghostbusters
car
came from.
and gave Dan a dirty look. Dan said he looked away for a brief second, and when he turned back, the car was gone. 2 hours after the car
Yeah, I've heard this.
disappeared, Dan was given bad news from the producers of the show. Dan said, quote, "We were told we were not to continue taping, and the show was canceled, and none of them would air."
It's crazy.
Why is it not the government? Why is it some weird alien organization coming?
So crazy.
If that were to be true, that would mean that the government is in accordance with these aliens already.
So the Men in Black could show up at Obama's desk and be like, "Hey, stop looking for aliens. Yeah, pesky human."
I saved the best encounter for last.
Okay.
On October 14, 2008, near Niagara Falls, hotel manager Shane Sovar, along with a hotel security guard, reported seeing a large triangular UFO outside his hotel. A group called the Aerial Phenomenon Investigations Team looked into the incident. They reported that a couple weeks later, according to 3 other witnesses, 2 unidentified men in black visited the hotel. The men in black terrified the hotel staff and were looking for Shane Sovar and the hotel security guard, who were luckily not there at the time. And when Shane Sovar reviewed the hotel security footage, he discovered that the camera had actually caught 2 men on tape. What we're about to watch is that footage.
No one's gonna die, are they?
No.
Oh, that's so weird. Oh, I've seen this. This is weird.
Sovar
Guys, that's
reported
so
that the
weird.
witnesses described the men as tall with black suits, black hats, identical faces, extremely pale skin, no eyebrows, no eyelashes, and abnormally large eyes. A woman who spoke with the men claimed that she felt that the men knew what she was thinking. Is this video proof that the MIB exist? Or is this video simply an internet hoax?
Can I be 100% honest?
Yeah.
I'm
It
really
could be a
trying
hoax.
here. They just look
Absolutely.
Like businessmen.
So you just think there's 2 abnormally large...
They were abnormally large?
They look...
Oh, look, they look the same. The one pixel, it's so blurry.
Okay, look at this guy right here. The fucking guy standing next to the door.
Okay.
Look at him next
Come
to
on,
them.
targeting
Unless he's
work.
super tiny.
Are basketball players aliens? Is Kobe? Is your precious Kobe an alien?
I mean, he might be, actually.
Yeah,
Could be an alien.
Cases of UFO or alien encounters come in the form of first-person accounts, and the MIB are no different. Do they exist? Are they from the government? Are they even human? Ultimately, it comes down to what you believe. Me personally, I believe that while they may not be aliens, even I can't believe that, I do believe that there may be a government agency out there that would regulate these sort of things to prevent mass hysteria.
All right, so
I
what do
can
you
give
got
you-
there,
I can
Doc? 2 things
buy-
on
I
MIB.
can buy into
One,
the
some of the
fact that the Men in
stories would be
Black
easy
may
to
be a
fake, like
real
it
thing.
happened, but it could
But I
just be
cannot
pranksters, right?
give
Yep,
you the
absolutely.
satisfaction that they're covering
Like not the
aliens.
government
There are
scaring
certain things like
the
ghosts
peeps,
or
and 2,
aliens
I think
or
some of this
demons
is verifiable.
I'd say
Like the
if
Air
those
Force spending
exist,
money on some of
then
it.
that
I want
becomes
to say
part of the
not an
science, and
MIB,
there's
but
an
researching
explanation
the
behind
tips
those
from
things.
people
This
that might be
is
focused
logical.
on.
This is
Yeah.
where we'll always disagree because
Yep, that's
not everything
that's definitely plausible.
No. No.
One day, there's going to be definitive proof. Or one of these
One
things
day,
happens.
boy.
There's going to be one. There's going to be definitive proof. of
When
something
did this
happening,
become a
and I'm
show
gonna be
tune?
there when that day happens, Brent.
And
I'm
this
gonna
is
be
when we
there.
know the video is over.
No, and I'm gonna be there, and you know, no, yeah, you can walk away like you always do, but one day it's gonna happen, and trust me, sir, I will be there, and I won't even say anything. I'll just smile like this.
All right.
Yeah, that's true. Why spend the money, time, and energy into researching shit like that? Unless there's a reason.
This week on BuzzFeed Unsolved, we're covering the Illuminati. Is it a real thing?
Boom, level
What the
86.
hell is
Ooh,
it?
the Illuminati, huh?
Right, approach it with an open mind. Let's get
Man,
started.
this stream
Shockingly,
is
the Illuminati
just going into
actually has a very real
conspiracy
historical
theory
foundation.
black
In
hole,
1776
and
in
I
Bavaria,
am
Germany,
loving it.
Adam Weishaupt, a German professor inspired by the ideals of French philosophy,
Mm.
namely secularism and rational thought, decided to form an organization to protect those beliefs. Adam Weishaupt considered joining the Freemasons to help propagate his views, but unfortunately could not afford the admission fee.
So this is already a poor man's something.
I didn't think about it that way, but yeah, you're right.
That is
So
hilarious.
instead, Weishaupt formed a secret group of his own. He called it the Order of the Illuminati.
Yeah, you won't let me into your secret group. I'll start my own secret group by myself.
Give him a chance.
Down by the train tracks.
I don't think they met by the train tracks. It was probably
And I won't let
basement.
you guys
Kinda like
into
this.
mine.
It's probably
a
something
little
like this.
bit, yeah.
I don't know why I'm holding that. Okay. The Illuminati had an anti-religious stance and focused on the goals of self-knowledge, self-improvement, social reform, and free thought. Naturally, conservatives considered this a threat to the church, and by the mid to late 1780s, the Illuminati was stopped, and the act of recruiting people into secret societies was criminalized. However, Weishaupt and the Illuminati would go Kobe in the fourth quarter and
Okay, all right, let's move. Keep going.
and continue to push on, persisting with meetings and eventually spreading to France before disappearing into obscurity. But some people believe they survived. Here's part of an interview I had with an expert.
Well, they believe that the core group was formed back then and has evolved. And so back in the 1920s, there were some fascists who believed that the Illuminati were a group of Jews who controlled the world. Right after World War II, the extremist anti-communists believed that the Illuminati were a group of communists who controlled the world. And most recently, the Illuminati conspiracy theorists believe that the Illuminati are part of the New World Order.
Many people believe the Illuminati seek to make a dominant one-world totalitarian government, referred to as the New World Order.
See, this is crazy to me.
In fact, in a 2013 national poll by Public Policy Polling, 28%
I'm with the aliens guy, but this is
New World Order.
kind of preposterous to me.
Of people probably believe that the sun moves around the earth.
Well, I don't have any scientific polls. For
Really,
that.
it's doing the 600, but what?
Some people
Really?
believe that the influence of the Illuminati
see
and the
something.
New World
No, I don't
Order
like it
goes
like
as high
that.
as the President
Me.
of the United States.
Oh.
Here's an eerie clip from an old George H.W.
Or my-
Bush
is
speech
my
when he was in
screen
office.
resolution like? Did it reset and I just didn't realize that?
And for future generations.
Where
A
is
new
this?
world
Graphics, the first
A
one.
world where the rule of law, not the
No.
law of the jungle,
Shit, it's not
governs
in
the
here.
conduct of nations.
Gotta exit the game.
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a
That
real
is so
chance at this
weird.
new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations
Interface,
can
human
use its
miscellaneous.
peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
He does have a weird little smile when he says it.
I'm gonna
Even the
check
part where he's
my
like, if this new world order could be
game
successful,
screen
and then it
resolution because it
looks.
definitely shouldn't be like
That's not
600.
creepy. That it'd make your spine.
Yeah,
tingle a
I gotta
little
go
bit.
into
The president
Launchpad.
of the United States, he has to be forthright. He has to be confident. What kind of message would it send if he was like, if this is successful, let's hope so.
All this begs the question, what is the New World Order and what will it do? Assuming the Illuminati and the New
No,
World
it's set to
Order are one and the
1920,
same,
but
let's hop down
1080.
the rabbit hole and take a look at some of the theories as to who is in the New World Order. The first theory is from a man named Mark Kornke, aka
Yeah.
Mark from Michigan, a right-wing militia activist and
So I know
propagandist
I
who believes that the
have
New World Order is made up of the US
OBS
government,
set
the UN,
to
and
720.
various other organizations pushing an international agenda. He believes this organization will take away Americans' rights, form an all-powerful
probably
government,
it.
and put non-Illuminati members in camps run by FEMA.
So 1% of the world is going to put
Stream.
99% of the world in camps. At that point, by the way,
Video.
the camps are so big that the 1% is inside them.
Look, it's
Oh, I see what you're saying.
not gonna lie.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is
yeah,
just
yeah,
one
yeah.
of the
So the
theories as to
output
who
scaled
is
resolution
in
is set
the
to
New World Order.
1066 by 600.
Okay. The second
That's
theory
what it
is
is.
from David Icke, who believes that world leaders, including Queen
Yeah,
Elizabeth,
I have to go
President
through and
Barack
change these.
Obama, and the Clintons are actually shapeshifting
And I won't do it now
lizards.
since I'm streaming, but
So this is
before the
one
next
that
stream, I'll
you're
have to go in
really
and change
into.
that.
You believe this?
I
one?
So
never
thanks
said
for pointing that out.
I just said there's other
I never
These
really
lizard
noticed
elite are behind
because
the
I remember
Freemasons
setting
and
some of this
the
stuff up.
Illuminati. The lizard race feeds
I don't know,
off
like
the
2 years
human
ago,
race and occasionally
and I
demands
never went
human
back and
sacrifices.
changed it.
In fact, the same 2013 national poll I mentioned earlier revealed
There
that
we go.
4% of voters polled believe that, quote, lizard people control our societies.
Lizard people.
4% of voters.
Oh my
That's
god.
actually a pretty good amount of people that believe they're shape-shifting lizards at the center of everything. you
Is
know?
there an origin story for
That
these
explains a
lizard
lot.
people?
I'm sure there is. I figured, you know what? I don't know if I need to know that.
The third theory is that the New World Order is connected to the Antichrist because the Illuminati are Satanists. Pat Robertson,
Wow.
a conservative Christian, wrote a book on the New World Order that claims the group is responsible for the French Revolution, the writing of the Communist Manifesto, and the creation of the Federal Reserve, all in the service of making, quote, a new order for the human race under the domination of Lucifer and his followers.
God, what a
So the
loon.
Federal Reserve
What a
was
loon.
created to spite Jesus. Lucifer was like pulling numbers.
I mean, you got a lot of time on your hands, right? If you're lucid.
God,
He's busy.
crazy
Why would he be
people.
busy? Hell's supposed to be an awful place. I imagine the place is terribly maintained.
He's torturing the souls of all the monsters throughout history. There's a
They
lot
come
of
up with
dead
this
people,
shit.
and he's like poking them all with little sticks.
The fourth theory is from Donald Marshall, who believes that the Illuminati are killing celebrities and replacing them with clones used to brainwash
Don't tell me the logon
society.
servers
Clones,
fucked.
though, like they're not coming out fully baked. They're babies.
Well, that's one theory. Some believe it could be like a Xerox machine.
Xeroxing is not how cloning works,
How do you?
right?
How do you? Are you a clone expert now? I'm just saying it's a
Dude,
possibility.
absolutely.
You're creating
Absolutely. Look at
similar embryo with
Scientology.
the same DNA.
L.
It has
Ron
to
Hubbard.
grow.
There's no
I
way
mean,
we
he
could
made
tell
a
what's
shitload of
actually,
money.
like the process.
Right?
they
And
can
created
tell
a
because they
religion
have
with it.
cloned
So that's the
things.
formula, right? Mix science fiction with religion equals
All right, fine. I'll look it up.
ton of
Did she
money.
Start off as a little baby sheep.
Yes.
Whatever. Okay.
Yeah,
apparently
it was a
there was a sheep clone. Whatever.
Oh, apparently.
Purported celebrity clones outed by internet sleuths include Beyonce, Eminem, Al Roker.
Al Roker. Hang on.
Yeah, who could he possibly influence? Even when he tells the weather.
I don't believe a word.
Shit, let me check
And many more. But clone
the
theorists
SWG
also
Legends Discord real quick. Because the logon server tends to go down quite a bit. Oh, Ron Hubbard, man, that guy. That guy.
Marshall, when you did that? Yeah, sorry. Live TV. Live TV freaks
Today's
me out a
what,
little
the
bit.
Oh,
third?
there you go. Live TV freaks him out a little bit.
Well, here's Al Roker's clip. Notice what she
Alright,
says.
there's no
and then
message
notice what
on the
his face
Discord.
goes
Why
to.
is this a code word?
Some people believe maybe it's like a trigger sequence where his brain's now
I
receiving.
have a feeling they don't know about it yet.
Al Roker's like the Manchurian candidate, and he's going to kill the
As long as it's
president.
now open.
Like they say in Catholic school, leave room for the Holy Ghost.
The expression he has on his face when he's frozen is so fucking funny to me. Every time
Try
I
to
watch
restart
this, I
the
don't know
game.
what it is. It's like, well,
You know what? Actually, it looks like he just pooped his pants. Who's next?
this is Beyonce. By the way, she did this for so long, I had to speed up the video. So there she is going, and then I sped up the video here. She's in some weird trance. I actually don't know what she's doing.
She's writing lemonade in her head right now.
Whether or not people believe this clone theory, many conspiracy theorists agree that major celebrities are in the Illuminati. They point to clothing choices and hand gestures, mainly that of a pyramid, which is seen as an Illuminati symbol.
Get outta here
as
with that
proof that certain
nonsense.
celebrities are in the Illuminati.
Beyonce and Jay-Z have been known to make a pyramid-like symbol with their hands. Although this is also similar to the symbol for Jay-Z's label, Rockefeller Records. But to flip on that, perhaps there's a reason why he chose that symbol. See what I just did there?
You did it right.
I did it.
The name of their child, Blue Ivy, has been interpreted to stand for Born Living Under Evil, Illuminati's very youngest.
Wow. I can't believe they would name her something with so obvious a secret message in there.
However, both stars have denied their affiliation with the Illuminati in songs. Here's an excerpt from Beyonce's Formation. Quote, "Y'all haters corny with that Illuminati mess." End quote. And here's an excerpt from Jay-Z's verse in the song Freemason. Quote, "I said I was amazing, not that I'm a Mason. I'm red hot, I'm on my third six, but a devil, I'm not." End quote.
Is this their game? Do they claim that the Illuminati like to just tease people with little hints?
In my mind, okay, I'm in this very,
Fuck.
very elite 1%.
Alright, well, the logon server's down.
But it's a secret club.
You can't tell anyone.
But it's fucking dope that I'm in this club, right?
Yeah.
So let me just give a little wink wink.
It's not good.
To let people know what's up.
Other celebrities include Kanye West, who owns a necklace containing the symbol of the Eye of Horus, which is associated with the Illuminati, and also seen on the dollar bill.
Alright,
By the
nothing
way,
under
the
server
Fed
status.
Dollar bill. There it is right there. I mean,
Wonder if
it's
somebody's
pretty
complaining
obvious.
about it here.
Kanye's interruption of Taylor Swift at the 2009 Video Music Awards was said to be a method of initiating Taylor Swift into the Illuminati by humiliating or hazing her.
So this has just moved to like frat level hazing.
However, here's a quote from Kanye on the Illuminati. Quote, "I'm tired of people pinpointing musicians as the Illuminati. That's ridiculous. We don't run anything. We're celebrities." End quote. Other celebrities that have been
all these
accused of being
people.
in the Illuminati include Lady Gaga, Rihanna, Madonna, and Katy Perry, just to name a few.
I bet, you know what? I bet Kobe's in the Illuminati.
See what you just did?
Jesus Christ.
I'm
sorry, Kobe.
The whole room is shaking right now. Oh my God, I think we just had an earthquake.
I'm sorry.
Keep in mind that it's
Get
pretty
hazed.
easy to make a claim that somebody is in the Illuminati. Hell, quickly perusing my coworker Quinta Brunson's Instagram feed, I could see several references to the Illuminati. Just
man.
looking through the pictures. Yeah,
See
there's
anybody
even a
in
picture
chat? No,
where I
nobody in
myself
chat.
make the Rockefeller sign in one of her pictures, and it was quickly called out by a comment. Illuminati confirmed. That's great. She also seems to be absent from her
He's to
desk
keep the
quite
people
frequently,
sheeple.
perhaps to attend to Illuminati affairs. What if you're in the Illuminati?
Look,
That's
I
the
am
ultimate
not in the
conspiracy theory right there.
Wink.
I am not in the Illuminati. Quinta's not in the Illuminati. You may be.
It is pretty hard to get into. And on that note, I'd like to point to a website called IlluminatiOfficial.org. And on that
What?
site, there's a page called Join the Illuminati. A very fascinating proposition indeed. So, I reached out for an interview. And here's what I got back from their public relations director. By the way, if the Illuminati is a real thing, the fact that they have a PR director, fucking amazing, right? That's super funny to me.
Ooh,
That
look
there's
at
someone
that.
sitting in a cubicle somewhere going, that's not the right move. Too many triangles in the last dress.
Roker's staring at the camera again. we gotta make a new Roker. God damn it, that's our fourth Roker.
Here's what the alleged Illuminati PR director wrote back in response to my interview request. Quote, unfortunately, members
Hey,
of
Cap,
the
no, I don't-
Illuminati
I don't-
are not
I
currently
don't think your
available
chat
for
went through.
on-camera interviews, end quote. She also mentioned,
this is the
quote,
Illuminati
"There are many
website.
misconceptions
This
about
is
my client's
hilarious.
organization, end quote, and referred me to the website's beliefs section, which is
The
abstract,
Illuminati
quite
is an
interesting to say the
elite
least.
organization
But
of world
let's visit
leaders, business
the professor
authorities,
one more time.
innovators, artists, and other
guess the last
influential
question would
members
be,
of this planet.
what
Our
percentage
coalition
would you put on
unites
that the
influencers of
Illuminati is
all
actually a real
political,
thing?
religious,
was
and
a real
geographical
thing,
backgrounds
back in
to further the
1780,
prosperity
but it's not a real
of the
thing anymore.
human species
I would say
as
100%
a whole.
it's not a real thing. Most of the conspiracy theories make this crazy leap at some point where you're following the trail of evidence and it makes sense, it
The
makes sense, it makes
people
sense, and
of the
suddenly
Illuminati.
it's crazy.
I don't know
could
any
see
of
a
these
world where
people.
sometimes,
None of these
like,
people look
things go
familiar.
beyond science or fact.
Like, give me
that
like
leap of
Michael
faith is what you
Jordan.
need to make to get to the
Give me
truth.
somebody
Maybe
like
that's just,
that,
the
right?
crazy
Somebody that I
person inside
recognize.
me.
I don't recognize any of these people at all.
I like how you just out yourself as one of the crazy people that she finds exhausting.
Join
Here's
the
thing.
Illuminati.
I saw the look on her face when I mentioned that.
Yeah.
She did not look pleased.
To begin,
Am I gonna say outright the
submit
Illuminati
your
is a real
information below.
No, I'm not going to say that, but is it possible?
Interesting.
Yeah, it's possible. Why not? The fact that there could be some like all-knowing organization under everything.
Illuminati.
Are they Skyping?
Illuminati
How are
the
they
first
meeting? How are they
testament of the
meeting?
Illuminati.
Maybe they're like, oh, let's just meet in Toledo this year at the Radisson.
You've angered them again.
Yeah.
Authentic items. Don't talk about Eternal oath.
The point I'm saying is nothing's impossible. Sometimes you just got to look at something with an open mind. It may seem crazy on the surface, and then I will admit
Interesting.
this all looks crazy.
So it is possible that there is a organization
So the true
founded
purpose
by
of this
lizard
website
people
is to sell this shit.
who regularly abduct and clone
That's what that is.
celebrities.
I'm not saying that there's
For the low price of $999,
Yeah.
you can get our Sacred Illuminati text.
We could sit here and talk about this all day, but regardless, the existence of the Illuminati will remain unsolved.
Well, let us know in the comments if you think Ryan's in the Illuminati, because now
Try logging
now
back
I'm
in
sold.
one more time. Oh my god, my nose is itchy.
The good news is you made it through this episode. The bad news is this is the last episode for this season of BuzzFeed Unsolved. However, double good news. Double good news.
Double good news.
Double good news is there's a new season, kids. And if I'm still alive in
God, I
October,
feel like I
the
just-
new season will begin.
it's time I'm
So
never gonna
hopefully
get
I'll see you
back.
there, and I'll be breathing.
If you aren't murdered.
And all the people that I've slighted having killed me. The Zodiac, or the Men in Black, or the Illuminati, or of course, Quinta Brunson.
We're continuing on this loop of
This week on BuzzFeed Unsolved, we
conspiracy.
discussed 3 of the most compelling mysteries that suggest the
Goodness.
presence of ancient aliens. So, let's drop some sweet knowledge.
Well, let's try logging in again.
I'm already fed up with the folders, by the way. Looks too
Connections
official,
open.
Considering the
I just-
nonsense
oh,
that is with
yeah,
it.
error with auth. So
The
they're down.
existence of aliens or extraterrestrials has long been one of the great mysteries of the world.
Interesting.
According to a 2015
creepy picture.
survey conducted by YouGov.com, about 54% of America, 56% of Germany, and 52% of the UK believe in extraterrestrial intelligent life. That being said,
history seems to indicate that aliens may have
Quite a few
visited
people.
our world in ancient times, aiding us at the brink of civilization. There are cave paintings like this one from Australia that may be up to 5,000 years old that some interpret as creatures wearing spacesuits. Or this painting from 8000 BC in the Sahara Desert that illustrates what appears to be spacemen leading natives in a line.
They're just people. What are you talking about?
I'm just saying what people interpret them as.
It's a basket of fruit.
They look just like people to me.
Basket of fruit. It's just a basket of fruit on their head.
There's two of them with baskets of fruit, and
Why
everyone else.
Why does that one in the back also have a little basket?
Maybe as a child. Look how small the rest are. Why are these so large?
Okay.
Here's a
That's
drawing
funny.
of a Mayan carving that shows a man attached to what some construe as an oxygen source as he operates controls in what appears to be a spaceship. Other fascinating objects include this hieroglyph from the Temple of Seti I that dates back to the 14th century BC. The glyph appears to contain hovering spacecrafts and modern-day flying machinery such as helicopters.
Why would there be a helicopter?
I don't know.
Why would they
Super
know that
weird.
they pay time traveling?
Possibly.
People
I don't
like
know. Why would they know that
make.
unless they were,
I
there
love
was
how
some
people
kind of
make something out of
intelligence
nothing.
that visited them that would be able to show these things.
So the aliens show up, show them pictures of helicopters, and fly away.
Well, I mean, this isn't the entire. I mean, this is what we've discovered so far. There could
Well, I
be.
can't wait to see the rest of it. I can't wait to see a poster of the motion picture Wedding Crashers and well, some lava lamps.
Additionally, a funerary marker from roughly 100 BC shows a woman presenting what some consider a laptop with USB ports.
Get the fuck out of here.
I don't know.
Why are there USB ports on it if they don't have thumbnail?
Get the fuck out of
I'm
here.
just saying
What are they looking at on it? There's no internet. Do they have Photoshop?
Oh my
Finally,
god.
Here is a hieroglyph from Hathor Temple. In
Oh, that
shows
galaxy's
workers operating
full.
what appeared to be enormous light bulbs.
No, it's not.
Perhaps explaining how artists were able to see when drawing elaborate hieroglyphs.
Galaxy
inside
is
their
so
tombs.
not full.
Ryan, here's you with 3
Come
butt
on, man.
cheeks. I've drawn it. Now it exists.
Why do I have little penguin arms?
I don't know. Why do you have little penguin arms? That's a good question. Here's you with little penguin arms and 3 butt cheeks. I've drawn it, so it must be real.
But beyond these small scattered references
Damn,
to
yo.
alien and modern technology, there are entire cities, civilizations.
Alright, guys. I think I'm going to take a break
question if we have always been
and wait till the server's back up.
the best mysteries that history has to offer in
So,
regards to ancient aliens.
so I'll be back.
The first mystery we'll discuss
Be back a little bit later, hopefully.
The Dogon are
Because
a
I want to
tribal
get to
group
level
in
90
West Africa,
today.
south of Timbuktu
That is my
in the
goal.
Republic of Mali,
If I
and
accomplish
some
nothing
in
else
the
for the day,
18th centuries.
it's that I hit level
In the
90.
1930s and 1940s, the studies of French anthropologists Marcel Griot
Fuck,
and Germain Dieterlen revealed that the Dogon knew a surprising amount of modern astronomy.
Alright,
According
thanks
to
for
their
dropping in.
studies,
We'll,
the Dogon believed these
I think we'll
things,
continue
all
on the
of which
conspiracy
were
video
scientific
stuff
facts.
too.
The
Because
planets orbit the sun.
it's
The
interesting.
Earth and other planets
Interesting
rotate
stuff.
on their axis. Saturn has a ring. Jupiter has 4 moons. And finally, that the star Sirius is actually part of a double star system containing a star called Sirius B that has a 50-year orbit and is invisible to the
Invisible to the
Knowledge
naked
of how
eye.
planets orbit would not require advanced technology. However, to know about Saturn's ring and Jupiter's moon would require remarkable eyesight and an extremely clear sky. But what is truly astonishing is the
Alright, guys, see you in a bit.
knowledge of the